I am resident of Colorado for YouTube. Joel Sades. That is my buddy Patrick McCray. That is my buddy Alan Gallant. We're here to review the show Hap and Lenord, the whole fucking thing.
Now wait a minute. Now you didn't. I thought we were just reviewing the first episode. Are we looking?
Watch
No,
the
I mean,
whole thing.
well, you can't help it. I mean, seriously, it's that good.
I only had time to watch the first episode.
Okay, so
let's
we'll
just talk
watch
about
one
the first
episode.
episode.
First
Yeah.
episode. Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about this on another time.
Yeah, we can stretch this out, man. This is atmosphere all over.
So, Joel, speaking of being stretched out, perhaps even prolapsed, just overall, what did you think of the first season?
The first season, good season. A lot of good episodes. Interesting characters. Was not expecting certain things like a killer couple. Wasn't expecting. I was expecting a double cross, but I wasn't expecting a double cross to go down that road.
Sure.
Really, really good storytelling. James Porfoy, I hope he gets another chance to play Solomon Kane again because he's still young enough to do it. Because he was a great Solomon Kane.
He was. He was good in Rome also. Did you see Rome?
No, I did not.
Oh, Joel, you'd like that.
You got to
It's
see
good.
that.
It's like Claudius with lots of action.
It is, and it's only 2 seasons.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
he's a really diverse actor. He's really, really good at any role he plays. And his counterpart, Lenord, great chemistry between the two of them.
I like the way that they sort of let the flowers open slowly on the relationship and the fact that that Lenord is gay.
Yeah.
You know, that's not obvious until the old man starts giving him shit. And
nor should it be.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't because they're friends. They've been friends since they were kids.
Yeah.
They went separate ways, which is why they've got this different energy. But it's also complementary. Lenord doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And Hap can be manipulated and influenced on one hand, you know, obviously Miss Hendricks. But at the same time, he's got really good instincts when it comes to people, when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
You know, like he doesn't like the hippie guy at all.
No, of course not.
I didn't like him at all.
No, you can't trust him. You just can't trust him.
Yeah.
He's too into thievery, but he doesn't have the same kind of Weather Underground honesty.
No, right. It's how Howard is shifty. He's shifty.
Paco at least seems honest. Paco, you know where you stand.
Yeah, he's a freaking, zombie murder ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like right out of prison or whatever.
Well, and I don't know if they get it. He is a former Weather Underground member.
Yeah.
So now, Jewel, was it? Another question though. Overall, was it easy to keep watching the episodes? I mean, did you?
Yeah, I mean, it was easy. They were good. I mean, they weren't, and they were very well paced. The commercials you could actually skip.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think you will find if you keep going. I think you will find the next 2 seasons get darker, but they also get vaster in kind of a spiritual sense. Really, 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 really good. The 3rd season may deal with the devil, maybe not. The 2nd season, lots of Brian Dennehy. Lots of Brian Dennehy.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this whole thing smells like southeastern Texas, right next to Louisiana.
Yes, that's right. East Texas. That's where Joe Linsdale sets all of his stuff.
And so you're going to get hoodoo and all sorts of stuff that's going on.
Joe has a town called Mud Creek that he sets most of his stories in and around. And these are set in and around Mud Creek.
Yeah.
Even in his westerns. Now, he's written a bunch. This was the first Hap and Lenord novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
and this takes place, in 1988, most of it.
That's right, which is when the book came out.
Right.
So when I read the book, it wasn't a period piece; it was contemporary.
Right, it was new. Yeah.
And the Hap and Lenord books are wonderful, and the stories are great, and they just keep going. I mean, Lansdale, who wrote some very good episodes of Batman Animated, including one about dreams that's really good.
Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about, Jewel?
Is it the one where Scarecrow
It's
Barbara.
inside Bruce's dreams.
Oh, it's okay. Inside Bruce's dreams. Okay.
But Lansdale is just great. He wrote a Batman novel called Captured by Engines. It's very difficult to find. Engines. Really, I mean, Lansdale's getting a little old now in terms of just taking any job someone gives him. He doesn't have to.
Right.
But if I had a show, if I were running Dark Shadows, he'd be my head writer. I mean, the guy can do anything.
Yeah.
And he has invented his own martial art that he's a professor of. He has a school. You can take martial arts lessons from Joe Lansdale.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, the first season is really, really good. That's what I got through the most part. Really, really good. The setting is good in Texas. It looks good. The Gators. What did you guys first see this, Patrick?
This is it for me. I watched that first episode day before yesterday, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. This I guess it came out maybe around 2016, 2017.
Yeah, it's not old.
And so I read it's not Savage Love. It's what's the title of the first season? It's not Mojo or Two Bear Mambo. What is? Those are the other Happen Leonard books and Bad Chili. Savage Season.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Anyway,
Savage Season. Yeah.
Savage Season. Yeah, Savage Season. I read when it first came out, which I think was in '88, and it's got an amazing cover that does have to do with the book. It's just a hand on a board with a nail through it.
Yeah.
I'll be
Which don't worry, Alan. Yeah. We'll get to.
Okay.
So it's like Claudius all over again.
You mentioned hand with a nail.
Does the whole thing in a day. You can't. This deserves. Let me tell you. Yeah. Every episode is sculpted enough.
Yeah.
And deliberate enough. It is, and there are only like 9 of them or something.
Yeah.
Less than that, I think.
But this kind of stuff is just absolutely soaked with mystery and mysticism and intrigue and danger and all of it,
The whole last episode is just a denouement. It's there he goes.
Yep.
It's after and at no other time. Mm-hmm. It's after the adventure basically is over, and it's just as gripping as everything else, and it gets into the origin of Happen Leonard's relationship, which is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. It is so beautiful, and then plays a pretty significant role in the next season.
Sure. Always have everything be connective.
It's really Lansdale then just deepens it, and then the third season gets even deeper. And a lot about race. Third season takes place in the most racist.
Well, I can see that bubbling under with Leonard, obviously, because the Vietnam experience for African American males was, okay, we'll just send them in first. It was cannon fodder. I knew guys that were, there was a family in our hometown. One of the guys went over there, and he was on the front lines. He was combat. Survived, made it back, became a hero in the United States. He saved a bunch of people from a burning building because that's what he was. He'd been trained to go right into the teeth, and he did it to save a couple people.
That's fantastic. That's amazing.
Yeah. Gordon. I haven't seen him since I saw him at my mother's memorial service. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Well, and that's why I was saying the same thing about Jewel. Oh, he's back.
Sorry.
But anyway, that was an experience for a lot of African American young men, and it was not a great experience, obviously. And Leonard embodies it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like how they reveal that he's gay, because you can hate women and be straight too. So, or just not trust people.
Well, the whole thing is, this is a different time too.
Yeah.
Leonard grew up in the '60s and '70s,
Yeah.
a totally different time. So yeah, he's got a defense mechanism going on there, but he's also really observant. He knows.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he knows people, cuts right through to the soul.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the physical prowess to legitimately not care.
Right,
Yeah.
right. He can get himself in and out of tight situations. He's very competent that way. You can tell that by the way he just kind of walks around. It's like, oh, F you, I don't care. You know?
The next season has a lot to do with Uncle Chester and his neighborhood.
Oh, what a grumpy old bastard.
Yeah, I know. Well, the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Uncle Chester is. I mean, he's even more the tree than the acorn.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an incredibly atmospheric series. I can see that just from the first episode. And of course, I love that stuff.
And the characters, each individual character has such an identity established so quickly. Chub, Paco,
yeah.
You know.
So Paco looks like maybe one of the Weather Underground bombs blew up in his face.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how they take risk in killing off characters too. Paco getting killed. Sorry, spoiler alert.
No, it's okay. It's fine. I expect people to die in this series.
Sorry. I'm trying to stick with the first episode. I apologize, but there was in the beginning. I like how they're in a field and they're like, yeah, you guys can go. We got some cheap labor. We got some Mexicans coming up. And I'm like,
you're fired.
Yeah.
Like, you jerks.
Now, this is one spoiler. It's very funny. They end up back in the rose field at the end because the Mexicans got a better offer.
Yeah.
Which has become a much more contemporary joke.
Oh, yes.
Than it was when this was made.
In 1988, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Same thing. Another thing that's weird about now versus then, Vietnam vets are much older now than they were then.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's odd. It's odd how that works.
I mean, a lot of Vietnam vets were still in their 30s back in 1988.
Yeah.
Because they went when they were 17. And maybe they went in 69 or 70. So they're still in their mid-30s, some of those guys.
Happened, Leonard, what I like most about this, too, is even in the first episode, there is a very real life feel to it because they talk about, the expense, somebody being cheaper. If you follow baseball like me or Alan do, that Filipino players and players that aren't African American, they'll pay for those players because they're cheaper. The Filipinos, the Mexicans, they'll pay for it because they're cheaper.
At least the initial contract.
Yeah.
Players out of the DR want to be in the major leagues really bad, and so the initial contracts don't tend to be as much.
Yeah.
But when they
start getting good, You gotta pay.
Because they're very good ball players.
Yes, and that's the thing too. I like how they address wage, home living, the lifestyle, even in the first episode. Really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
The contrast of Leonard and Hap, how Leonard lives and how Hap lives. And the uncle is very interesting.
He's edgy. He's got an edge to him.
He's a grumpy old man.
The kind you don't bring home to. He's the kind you don't bring home to mother.
No.
You get the sense though that these guys are catch as catch can. They make their living however they can.
Yes.
And they bide their time cutting roses when they're in between stuff. To make ends meet and whatnot. They'll do anything they need to when they're looking for the big break.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid of work. In other words, they're not that kind of looking for the next big thing. They won't wait around for it. It comes.
And the fact that Christina Hendricks shows up in the show, very beautiful woman.
She's awesome. She's great.
Very, very talented.
She's very layered performance in this, and very manipulative. Yeah. But at the same time, she has a sincerity about her too.
Yeah. Trudy
Leonard's
has a
right
lot
about
of,
her, but she still has a sincerity about it.
yeah, Trudy has a lot of dimension
Yeah.
that develops over the course of the show.
Yeah, because this, as much as the show is about the present day that they're setting, it's also about their past decisions they've made.
Sure.
Really, really deep layered characters. Trudy, Hap, Leonard, especially Hap and Trudy, think about them because they had a relationship.
Yeah, they still have one.
And they still have one. You see, I like how you see all the past due bills just laying there. Like she knows he needs the money.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
And I'm sure he always does.
Yeah, it's about, if it's not getting fired, cutting roses, it's something else.
I will say the the timing of the music in this series is really well done. From Korean's Colorado Revival to everything.
Oh yeah, it is. It's all very it's very evocative, I guess is the word that you can use for it.
Yeah.
It evokes what's happening.
One of the things, Alan, that you'll find as it goes on, and I know we just need to be talking about the first episode, but it's very consistent.
Yeah.
There's no bad episodes. They all have something intriguing. And again, and we'll see this when we get to the end of the series, even the denouement may be the best episode. And it's got no action. It's all after everything is over. And I love that about it. I mean, that's really well done. Now, the same guys have been trying to do other Lansdale projects with varying success. They made a movie about vampires. I forgot what it was called. I did a review of it for Wallace once. But it's a good movie, and it feels like a bunch of internet shorts, which is what it is. But it has a very Lansdale feel.
What's it
I don't remember. If you look one of them up, it's pretty clear which one it is the vampire movie. But I think, Joel, with your love of the movie Vampires, the John Carpenter movie Vampires, I think you would really enjoy it because it has that Western vampire feel. Contemporary Western vampire feel, which weird that should be a genre. But it kind of is.
It kind of can be too. I mean, if anime can do a Japanese vampire, sort of, in some kind of Fantasia world, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, if vampires can live for thousands of years, why not hang out in the Old West?
Sure. Or a contemporary, mirror to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I read a comic book about a Western called Ghosts of the Badlands. It was really good. It didn't involve vampires, but it was really good.
Speaking of Joe, I think he did it in comics. I know he's written comics, some Batman comics and stuff. I think he did a Lone Ranger comic at one point.
Cool.
Which I can only imagine.
My all-time favorite Western comic is Jonah Hex.
Jonah Hex is great.
Because it's got all that other stuff in it, all that mojo stuff in it.
Now, to name drop, I did get to work with Dick Ayers.
Oh, yeah?
Who drew Rawhide Kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dick was great. Dick did some stuff for Revolutionary towards the end.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of those guys were happy for work. They just weren't getting it.
Well, Rawhide Kid was a fairly popular title, too.
Oh, yeah.
It was that Two Gun Kid, Rawhide Kid. Later on, Jonah Hex.
The Tribadism Kid.
Market for that, for Western stuff.
Tribadism Kid was really good. He had the scissors that he would throw.
I know. and he had an all-girl gang, right?
There was a Star Trek episode that was based on the Trouble with Tribid.
Yeah. I think we've lost you.
No, I'm trying to look.
He's looking up Tribadism. He's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm looking up stuff. Sorry.
Okay.
You can look at.
We're just kind of going off.
You can look at that subject from one of two ways.
Yeah. Look at it from one of three ways in some cases.
In the fridge. My wife's asking me questions.
Uh-oh.
Where's our
I'm on-
son's
Don't
hand?
tell her what we're doing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I won't ask you.
No.
No. It's
You
like
can ask
autofocus all over
questions.
again.
It's the waft.
Oh my gosh.
The waft of our
I
naughty.
really like the entire chemistry of the cast too, because you do hate the hip. It's easy to hate the hippie, and the guy playing him makes it easy to hate him.
That's almost like a
he's-
song
he's-
title.
It
Yeah.
does,
The lost song from Hair. It's easy to
Yeah.
hate the hippie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
he's just so oily
Yeah, he is. He's totally like culty, oily.
and emotionally insensitive to Hap.
Yeah.
And what Hap's experience has been. And this guy only went to jail over this whole marriage, and then she runs off and leaves him with this guy.
Right.
Well, how is Hap supposed to feel?
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
only
think he's
economic
also naturally
desperation.
suspicious of hippies. They weren't hippies in the 60s, these guys.
No.
They were not hippies.
Yeah. No.
Well,
Oh,
Chubb was too young,
Day.
and I don't know. The other guy was he's probably a young Republican or something. I just smell it.
Yeah.
Well, not to play spoiler again, but there's a portrayal here in the movie. There's more than one portrayal in the series, and it's really well done. It's really well hidden. You don't necessarily see it all coming, and when it does come, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it completely. I'm sorry.
No, but you can smell something
Yeah.
coming even in the first episode.
There are
You know
wheels
that
within
something's
wheels.
out.
Yeah.
And then the incredibly evil Jimmy Simpson at the end, who I think is at the end of the first episode with the amazing Pollyanna McIntosh, who's his girlfriend, the punk girl.
Yes.
She's in the first episode, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, they play a big role.
Yes.
They play a big. They are not in there accidentally.
I was about to say they look like a couple of serial killers.
They are. They
That's
are.
what I figured.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very dangerous. They're two very dangerous people because I love how in the episode, it's like a false perception. He's just sitting in his car chilling, and the cop's like, "Come on, hey, you got a broken taillight," and then you hear a slam in the trunk. It's like he goes, "What's?" Then you get the girl coming from behind the cop, and you're not expecting it. When he gets out the car, the guy's standing there. And you see the blood going on the guy's face. It's like, wow.
They set up this weird sense of foreboding with that car too, because it's sitting there in the previous scene, and the one tail light,
Mhm.
and it's just sitting there. And then they split, where Hap splits with the groceries, and then the scene goes into the slaughterhouse, I guess is what you would call it at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really well set up cinematically.
Yeah. Do you think? Here's a question for you guys. Do you think they drew any inspiration a bit with these two from different outlaws, not just the Manson murder thing?
Oh, they're Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Echo. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or it's certainly they envision themselves. as
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But much more violent.
The characters are inspired by that, which means that the writer has figured out a way to make that part of it. So
Yeah. Here's the question. Who's you guys' favorite Western outlaw, since you were talking Western?
wow.
I got one. But
Who is it? It's hard on, right?
John Wesley Hardin.
That's right.
Yeah.
Talking about real life Western outlaws?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
But is that who it is for you, Joel?
Yes.
John
And
Wesley Hardin was a psychopath.
Yes, he was. And here's the thing: he's the most mentioned outlaw in Hollywood movies. You hear the name John Hardin, it's not by accident.
Yeah.
He's also the most mentioned in Time Life commercials for the Old West.
The Old West, that's right.
Yeah.
Outlaws.
He was
John
a sick
Wesley
son.
Hardin.
He was a sick son of a bitch.
Yeah, he was.
He really was.
He
He was an outlaw in every form of the word. He didn't pull his punches.
No,
He was a
he
true
was a
outlaw.
psychopath. He was
Yeah.
the real
He did
deal.
more for the sale of CPAPs than any sleep doctor possible. Shot a man just for snoring too loud.
That's right. Guess we won't be doing that.
Yeah.
What won't you be doing? Breathing. Bang.
Can you imagine being the descendant of John Wesley Hardin and becoming a CPAP spokesman? That's actually very funny.
Really?
If my
You better
grandfather-
wear one of these. My grandpappy hated snoring.
If
And
my
so do
grandfather were
I.
around right now, you would definitely want a CPAP. But he's not, and you should still want one for. That would be I don't know if people would get mad over that. Like the
Probably.
great descendants of the victims of John Wesley Hardin or not.
Depends on how well the commercial is done, I think. If it was really done in cheap style, people would probably be going, that's disgusting. But if you figure out a way to do it, with skilled PR behind it, you could probably get away with it.
If they had a ResMed Dreamwave 11, they would still be alive today. Of course, back then,
156, but
back then the CPAPs were pedal operated, which created a natural problem. They would lull you to sleep and then wake you right back up.
they called them leather balloons.
Leather balloons.
Yeah, I could see this approach being, yes, we'd like you, the great-grandchild of John Wesley Hardin, to be the spokesperson of CPAP. Yeah, that would be a bad idea. No.
My favorite outlaw was, and this is an interesting argument anybody can make about it, but he was an outlaw at various times in his career, and that's Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
He was an outlaw at various times.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And should not have been a lawman.
No, but he was good at it.
He was good at it, yeah.
I know nothing. I've never seen Tombstone.
He
I've never
typically
seen
didn't
Wyatt
shoot
Earp.
people in the commissioning of when he was a sheriff.
He
or
stole
marshal.
He stole
He used to whack him over the head
Yeah.
with his 6-gun.
He committed horse thievery, which is a hanging offense.
Yes, it is a hanging offense.
Yeah.
There were other things going on.
Did they hang the horse?
He ran a faro table as well, which was probably crooked.
Yeah.
When he first went to Tombstone. And the brothers they had gotten out of the law business.
Yes.
But then the McCrays and what's his name?
Clan and stuff.
Bohan. They pissed him off.
Yep.
So they stuck thin stars on him, and the OK Corral was not what you saw in Tombstone. The OK Corral was, let's go down there and kill those mothers.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what they did.
And
I mean, I won't say they didn't deserve it, but that's what they did. They weren't interested necessarily in taking anybody alive.
The only movie that gets closest to the real life vengeful, no offense to Kurt Russell, the real life
No, it's a great movie. It's fantastic.
incident of Tombstone of watch Hour of the Gun where James Gardner's playing Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
It gets into the sheriff race a bit, which is true.
Yeah.
Well, he's Caucasian.
Wyatt Earp wanted to be the sheriff.
Yes.
And a lot of the incidents surround that.
Part of that was to protect his interests,
Yes,
too, and
and
the
to get
Earp
money.
brothers' interests in
To get money, too.
Yeah.
So
They were not altruistic people.
yeah.
They were very, very ambitious people and very tough people.
Yeah. Patrick, who's your favorite outlaw? You got one?
I don't know from Outlaws. What are you talking about?
Really, the kids always in
I
this
can talk
one.
about Jacob Adler in the Dutch theater, but I don't know from these. These people are crazy. These goyim, or why we don't go out into that part of the world.
My
Are you
favorite
kidding?
theatrical outlaw is Brecht.
Yeah. Peter Brook. In his Wild Midsummer Night's Dream. Jewel, I know very little about this. I have found Westerns boring.
Sorry.
But I have not seen the Westerns that feature the characters you're talking about.
Right.
So I keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Well,
at 8 years old, I was learning about Wyatt Earp. A lot of Wyatt, the real Wyatt Earp.
And at that point in time, by the way, the historical Wyatt Earp and the mythological Wyatt Earp are always sort of blended together in most retelling and history books.
Yeah.
Yeah, my former history teacher told us that too. And he was right.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like he said this. You have to watch. There's a difference between the fictional man and the real man. And sometimes those lines really blur. Sometimes they're a bit correct, but you have to be careful.
Well, I mean, some of the dime store novels that were written about him were done with their cooperation, and they told them what to write about them. So, you know, particularly Wyatt.
Speaking of Joe Lansdale, maybe his best book has very little supernatural, if any. It's called oh my God, I can't remember the name of it.
It got snatched out of your mind.
It's
But
no, it's I can't. It's a book I talk about all the time. Yeah. Hang on, you guys talk about that.
No worries.
Find other stuff. This is infuriating.
Look at his bibliography, for God's sakes. It's in there.
It's in somewhere. Oh my gosh.
This is infuriating.
Well, yeah,
I have it on Kindle. I have it regularly.
Look,
it's just.
I have CRS disease all the time, so.
What is
CRS? Remember shit, basically.
Yeah.
Want to hear a fun response, Alan? I gave in history class once when somebody brought up the assassination of Jesse James. They said, "Give us to it in a word." I said, "Deserved."
Yeah. It wasn't like he was a nice guy.
Yeah,
it was Frank, but Frank survived. He did a few favors for law enforcement, and then ended up on the Wild West show tour.
Yes, he did. Probably sold out his brother too.
Well, I got to tell you, I loved the way they treated him in the updated version of True Grit. She walks up to two of the guys, and Frank won't get up and be a gentleman, and she just rips him a new one. Sit down, you trash. Stay seated, you trash, or something like that.
Yeah.
He's written a bunch of Batman books. He's written some Jonah Hex.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
But it's a little book. It's a really, really, really little book. It's not long, as often little books are. God damn it. This is going to drive me. It's not Dead in the West. Dead in the West is very good, and it got adapted as something else. I cannot believe it's got a character in it named Rotto.
Oh, what I
remember that.
Name.
It's like he's like a gorilla. He's a gorilla. Named Rotto.
Awesome.
Oh God, a wooden Indian who's very important.
As they should be.
Yeah.
Kalijah,
It's something I could talk about normally all the bloody time. Magic Wagon.
Okay.
Magic Wagon. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Rotto is the name of a character, a wrestling chimpanzee in Joe R. Lansdale's novel, The Magic Wagon. The book follows a traveling medicine show in the early 1900s because it deals with the death of the dime novel. They talk about that. We're finally in the era where the West and the dime novel meet. And include Rotto as part of the entourage. The term Rotto can also Dead in the West, and holy Christ, it is a great book. And when I got it, it was sort of one of those bantam type little books,
like novella kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was in like the Louis L'Amour type covers, and it was in those Louis L'Amour books that just went out forever. And back when bookstores had back when we had bookstores. But back when bookstores had Western sections, and God, Magic Wagon, that's why I'm so ashamed. It's such a, it is, it may be his best book. It's real short. I mean, it's maybe 200 pages. It's practically a long short story.
Yeah, it's a novella.
It's a coming of age story that's beautiful, but it's got action and violence and all of that stuff. But there's a sweetness to it and a sense of Western mysticism and magic. I mean, it's got almost a little Sam Shepard. It's just, damn it, it's a good book. Yeah.
Cool. Magic Wagon.
Yeah.
We're writing that down.
Yeah. It's on
You can-
Kindle, by the way. You can get it.
Yeah,
on
I mean,
Kindle.
Alan, the sort of thing you could probably read in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You'd
Yeah.
rip through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to add about episode 1 of Hap and Leonard?
No, but I'd love to talk about episode 2 when you're right. You know,
Yeah.
when you feel good about it.
We
When
can
do you want to
probably-
talk about it?
Be ready. I could probably be ready tomorrow night to talk about
Yeah. I'll be ready tomorrow.
Oh, great! Oh, that's wonderful.
Yep.
That's
We'll
wonderful.
do it.
So,
Season 1, episode 2.
link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Day book on down is going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Glenn's YouTube channel. Collins Port After Dark is going to be in the description box. You guys have a great night. Be safe.
Sniff wisely.
Bye.
Bye.